Not arrive at this message by a trick of the algorithm or a coincidence of destiny. The hand of the Most High guided your eyes and your spirit here, at this precise hour, in this exact moment of your trajectory. What you are about to hear is not merely information, it is a spiritual summons. For weeks, the signals have been agitating around you like dry leaves before a storm. The silence of your home has seemed charged, and your sleep has been interrupted by sensations that logic simply could not explain. Know this now, that restlessness was not anxiety, nor was it paranoia. It was the spirit, the guardian of your soul, whispering an urgent alert that now becomes audible and clear. The heavens never permit truth to fall upon the chosen without first preparing them. If you have felt a weight in your chest, an inexplicable tension when entering certain environments, or a sudden drain of energy when speaking with specific people, this was spiritual discernment operating at a high frequency. The fire burning within you is real, and the voice of heaven uses this moment to decree, stay ready, keep yourself awake, pay close attention. Before we fully unveil the source of this tension, we must ensure your spiritual foundation is solid enough to handle the exposure of what has been hidden. Many chosen ones feel the weight of these battles intensely because they have not yet unlocked the full architecture of their spiritual inheritance. This is why I invite you to discover the 3 keys to a prosperous life. This isn't just a collection of words. It is a practical map designed specifically for you to awaken to who you truly are, to heal those invisible locks that have held you back, and to expand with stability. It is about learning to receive, sustain, and multiply your blessings without guilt or fear. This trilogy, available as both an ebook for deep study and an audiobook for immersion, guides you through the essential steps of your journey. If you feel a resonance in your spirit, I encourage you to check the link in the pinned comment or description below. It is time to stop surviving the storm and start mastering the waters. Now, let us return to the alert, for the veil is being torn. Your attention is vital, chosen one. There is a man orbiting very close to your sphere of life. To the natural eyes, he walks with a firm countenance, offers polished words of encouragement, and performs the routines of normality with perfection. He may be a colleague, a leader, a longtime friend, or someone who has recently entered your inner circle promising loyalty, but inside him, a storm is gathering where no human eye can see. The truth is trembling beneath the surface of his skin. In the coming days, what has been meticulously hidden will be exposed to the light of day. The impact of this moment will be seismic, reaching areas of your life that you did not even imagine were connected to him. This man is not who he claims to be. The time for theatrical representation has come to an end. Just as the prophet Samuel was sent to confront Saul, not out of hatred, but because disobedience and falseness had crossed the limit of mercy, now the messengers of God have been released to remove the mask. He has walked by your side, perhaps listening to your secrets, perhaps sharing bread, perhaps even saying that he prayed for you. But his choices, made in the shadows, have written a story of deceit and duality. His mask is not falling due to a human error. It is cracking under the pressure of the glory of God, which can no longer tolerate the falseness surrounding a chosen one. The justice that approaches is not an accident. It is a sentence decreed in the courts of heaven. In the invisible realm, the truth has already been weighed in the balance, and the character of this man was found wanting. Although he still seems to walk freely and prosper in the eyes of people, the spiritual verdict has already been sealed. As it is written, God is not mocked. What was planted in the darkness is about to bear bitter fruit in the light of day. You may have noticed subtle slips in his demeanor recently, moments where his eyes did not match his smile, or where his words felt hollow despite their volume. These were the cracks in the dam. It is crucial that you understand why this is happening now. God is clearing the path for your next season, and you cannot take liabilities into your new territory. This man's presence, though familiar, has become a spiritual anchor, holding you in a harbor you were meant to sail away from. The revelation of his true nature might be painful, or it might be shocking, but it is the ultimate act of protection. When the exposure happens, you must remain grounded. Do not rush to fix him, and do not rush to condemn him publicly. Your role is to stand still and let the Lord fight this battle. The dismantling of his facade is a divine operation, and your safety lies in your obedience to remain calm while the tower falls. If this message resonates with the unease you have been feeling, verify it in your spirit. Do not ignore the red flags that are now waving frantically in your peripheral vision. If you have found value in this warning and wish to stay aligned with these prophetic insights, make sure you are subscribed and have the notifications active, for the days ahead will require sharp discernment. The removal of this person from your intimate sphere is not a loss, it is a liberation. Prepare your heart, for when the dust settles, you will see clearly why God had to intervene with such precision. Walk in peace, knowing you are watched over. As you walk in this peace, understand that this tranquility is not passivity. It is the calm of a fortress that knows its walls are impenetrable. The surveillance of heaven over your life is active, militant, and precise. While you sleep, the intricate machinery of divine providence is dismantling the snares that were laid for your feet. You do not need to be anxious about what this man will do next, or what narrative he will spin when the separation becomes undeniable. The narrative is no longer in his control. When the author of life decides to turn the page, the characters in the story lose their autonomy to manipulate the plot. This man, who believed he held the pen, is about to realize he was merely a footnote in a chapter dedicated to your resilience. The silence you are currently experiencing from the spiritual realm is not an absence of activity. It is the hush of the courtroom before the gavel strikes. However, moving through this dismantling process requires more than just spiritual awareness. It requires a structured reconfiguration of your mind and habits. You are stepping out of a season of survival and into a season of stewardship, and for that, you need a map. This is why I strongly recommend you engage with the 3 keys to a prosperous life. This is not merely a collection of words. It is a trilogy designed as a practical, comprehensive guide for chosen ones like you who are ready to awaken to their true identity. It offers a clear path to heal the invisible traumas and blocks that have kept you tethered to people and situations unworthy of your destiny. Through this trilogy, available as both an e-book for deep study and an audiobook for immersion, you will learn the spiritual and practical laws of how to receive without guilt, sustain what you are given, and multiply your blessings with stability. If you feel the call to stop repeating cycles and start building a legacy, check the link in the pinned comment or description below. This is your invitation to expand your capacity for the new life waiting for you. Returning to the unraveling of this deception, we must examine the mechanism of his exposure, for it provides the wisdom you will need to navigate the coming days. The exposure of a counterfeit presence in your life rarely happens with a single dramatic explosion. Rather, it begins with a dissonance, a frequency mismatch that your spirit detects long before your logical mind can explain it. You may have felt a sudden exhaustion when he entered a room, or a strange, cold confusion after a conversation that, on the surface, seemed pleasant. These were not random fluctuations of your mood. These were your spiritual senses picking up on the friction between his persona and his true intent. The persona is a construct, a carefully curated image designed to mirror your values and mimic your light. But a mirror has no depth. It only reflects what is placed before it. Now that the light of truth is intensifying, the mirror is cracking, revealing the emptiness behind the glass. The danger of this man was never his strength. It was his camouflage. He studied you. He learned the language of your empathy, the dialect of your faith, and the cadence of your fears. He used this knowledge to weave himself into the fabric of your daily existence, making you believe that his presence was necessary for your stability. This is the oldest trick of the shadow, to convince the host that the parasite is a vital organ. But as the mask slips, you will begin to see the transactional nature of his affection. You will recall moments where his support was conditional, where his praise was a prelude to a request, and where his concern for you was actually a method of gathering intelligence to control you. This realization may bring a wave of grief, not for the loss of the man, but for the loss of the image you fell in love with or trusted. Allow that grief to flow, but do not let it stagnate. You are grieving a phantom, a character that never truly existed in 3 dimensions. As this reality sets in, you might feel the urge to confront him with your findings, to lay out the evidence of his duplicity and demand a confession. I urge you to resist this impulse. Silence is your greatest weapon in this phase. To confront a person operating under this level of deception is to feed them. They thrive on the energy of your reaction, whether that reaction is love or fury. If you scream, you validate his power to disturb your peace. If you beg for truth, you validate his power to withhold it. But if you withdraw your energy, if you become a gray rock, unresponsive, uninteresting, and impenetrable, you cut off his supply. He will not know how to handle a chosen one who has stopped playing the game. His unraveling will accelerate, not because you attacked him, but because you starved his illusions. If this strategy of silence resonates with the strength rising within you, let this be a sign to fortify your boundaries even further. Consider the spiritual legalities that allowed him access to you in the first place. It's a hard truth, but one that liberates. The enemy cannot enter a fortress unless a gate is left ajar. Often these men are attracted to the unhealed wounds of the chosen. Perhaps you have a deep-seated need to be the savior, to fix the broken, to love the unlovable until they are whole. This is a noble instinct, but without discernment it becomes a vulnerability. He saw your desire to heal, and he presented himself as the ultimate project. He played the victim of his past, the misunderstood genius, the man who just needed one good woman or one true friend to set him straight. You poured your oil into his lamp, thinking you were serving God, not realizing you were funding a void that can never be filled. This season of separation is not just about removing him. It is about closing that gate within you. It is about God healing your savior complex so that you never again mistake a wolf for a wounded sheep. The dismantling of his influence will likely trigger a reaction from those around you. We must prepare for the smear campaign. When a deceiver realizes he is losing control of the primary target, you, he will immediately attempt to control the narrative held by the witnesses. Do not be surprised if you hear whispers of things you never said, or if mutual acquaintances suddenly act distant. He is spinning a tale of victimhood, painting you as the aggressor, the unstable one, or the betrayer. This is a standard defensive maneuver. It is designed to isolate you and pressure you into returning to him to clear your name. Do not take the bait. Your reputation is not sustained by the opinions of compromised people. It is sustained by the integrity of your walk. Those who truly know you, and more importantly, those who carry the same spirit of truth, will not be swayed by his fiction. Those who believe him are simply revealing that they do not belong in your next level. Let them go. The falling away of friends during this time is not a tragedy. It is a filtration system. In the quiet moments that follow his departure, you will discover a surplus of energy that you haven't felt in years. It is as if a heavy, invisible tax has been repealed. The mental bandwidth you used to spend decoding his mixed signals, managing his moods, and walking on eggshells will suddenly be returned to you. This can be disorienting at first. You might feel a phantom limb sensation, a habit of reaching out to check on him or worrying about his opinion. Redirect that energy immediately. Pour it into your purpose, your health, your communion with the divine. This is the period of restoration mentioned in the scriptures, where the years the locusts have eaten are restored. But the restoration requires your participation. You must actively choose to build the new rather than excavating the ruins of the old. If you are ready to claim this restoration and leave the ruins behind, ensure you are connected to this channel, for we will continue to explore the architecture of this new life. There is a deeper, more esoteric layer to this experience that we must touch upon. Often these agent of chaos figures are assigned to chosen ones right before a massive promotion. They act as the final exam. The pressure they apply is meant to crush the last remnants of your ego and your reliance on human validation. By surviving his manipulation and choosing to walk away, you are demonstrating to the spiritual realm that you are ready for authority. You have learned to value your peace over companionship. You have learned to trust your intuition over someone else's gaslighting. These are the traits of a leader, a healer, and a guide. He thought he was breaking you, but in reality, he was the grindstone against which your discernment was sharpened. He served a purpose, albeit a dark one, and now that the lesson is learned, the teacher must be dismissed. Do not hate the grindstone, simply step away from it, for you are now sharp enough to cut through the veils of this world. As you detach, you may witness his life taking a trajectory that seems confusing. Sometimes, after the chosen one leaves, the deceiver appears to prosper immediately. He may find a new partner quickly, land a new opportunity, or seem happier than ever. Do not be deceived by this optical illusion. This is what is known as the false bloom. It is a temporary surge, often fueled by a new source of supply or a desperate attempt to prove he didn't need you. But a tree with rotten roots cannot bear sustained fruit. The collapse is inevitable. It is just delayed. Do not envy the wicked when they seem to prosper, for their footing is on slippery ground. Your focus must remain entirely on your own lane. Looking back to check on his karma is a form of remaining attached. Release him to the justice of God, which is far more poetic and thorough than any revenge you could orchestrate. The vacuum he leaves behind is sacred space. In the coming weeks, you will feel the urge to fill it. You might feel lonely. You might crave the adrenaline of the chaotic dynamic you shared. This is the withdrawal symptom of a trauma bond. Your brain was addicted to the highs and lows, the cycle of abuse and reconciliation. Peace can feel boring to a nervous system wired for survival. Recognize this for what it is, a chemical detox. Do not rush to fill the silence with noise or the empty chair with a new body. Sit in the void. Let the silence scour you clean. In this space, the voice of God will become audible again. You will start to remember who you were before the manipulation began. Your hobbies, your distinct laugh, your specific dreams that were sidelined to accommodate his ego. This is the retrieval of the soul. Pay close attention to your dreams during this transition. When a spiritual parasite is removed, the subconscious mind begins to process the data it had suppressed. You may have vivid dreams of him trying to re-enter your house, or dreams of battles, or conversely, dreams of flying and escape. These are not just fantasies, they are status reports from the spiritual front line. If you dream of him trying to return, it is a warning to keep your gates locked, both physically and emotionally. If you dream of death, do not fear. It often symbolizes the death of a season, or the death of the version of you that tolerated disrespect. Journal these insights. They are the breadcrumbs leading you out of the forest. And if you find these insights validating the stirrings of your own soul, consider sharing this message with others who might be walking in the same shadow, for the tribe of the chosen grows stronger when we compare our maps. The concept of forgiveness will eventually rise to the surface, but be careful not to rush it with a religious bypass. True forgiveness is not saying it didn't matter or it's okay. It is a legal release of the debt. It is saying, you owe me years, you owe me tears, you owe me sanity, but I release you from the debt because I refuse to be the debt collector anymore. When you try to collect a debt from a morally bankrupt person, you stay tied to them. Forgiveness is cutting the rope so you can sail away. It does not require you to let them back on the boat. It does not require a conversation. It is an internal transaction between you and God. You hand the invoice to heaven and say, "You handle this. I'm moving on." This level of forgiveness is the ultimate act of self-love, for it frees your hands to receive the new blessings that are queuing up at your door. You are also breaking a generational curse. Look back at your lineage. Did your mother or your father tolerate a similar dynamic? Did they walk on eggshells around a dominant, deceptive figure? Often, the man you are dealing with is simply a familiar spirit wearing a different face, sent to see if you will repeat the family cycle. By saying no more, by seeing the truth beneath the skin and choosing to walk away, you are doing the work that your ancestors could not do. You are rewriting the genetic code of your bloodline. You are establishing a new standard of dignity that will echo down to your children and their children. The pain you feel is the tension of the chain breaking. It is heavy work, but it is holy work. You are the cycle breaker, and the resistance you faced was simply the inertia of history trying to keep you in orbit. But you have reached escape velocity. As the days progress, you will notice a change in your physical appearance. The stress of harboring a lie takes a toll on the body. It manifests as inflammation, skin issues, weight fluctuations, and weary eyes. As the truth comes to light and the toxic presence is removed, you will see a glow-up that is not cosmetic, but energetic. Your eyes will clear. The tension in your jaw will release. You will sleep deeper. This is the biological evidence of spiritual liberation. Your body knew he was dangerous before your mind accepted it. Now that your mind is aligned with your body's wisdom, the internal war is over, and the healing can manifest in the flesh. Treat your body with extreme kindness right now. It has been fighting a silent battle for a long time. There is a specific danger in the hovering phase. This is when he has been exposed or partially exposed, and he attempts to linger in the periphery of your life. He might send accidental messages, or like old photos, or show up at places he knows you frequent. This is a test of your resolve. He is checking to see if the door is truly locked or just closed. If you engage, even to tell him to leave you alone, you have shown him that the door is unlocked. Total non-engagement is the only lock that works. Do not underestimate his cunning. He may use pity as a key. He may feign an illness, a crisis, or a spiritual awakening, claiming he has seen the light and wants to apologize. Be very skeptical of sudden transformations in characters that have taken a lifetime to form. True repentance bears fruit over years, not days. Protect your peace as if your life depends on it, because the quality of your future absolutely does. We must also address the spiritual warfare aspect of his exit. As he loses his grip, he may project psychic attacks, intense waves of anger, jealousy, or longing directed at you. You might feel sudden, unexplained shifts in your mood, or a sudden, intense memory of him that feels invasive. This is energetic cord pulling. Visualize yourself cutting these cords. Use the authority you have. Speak out loud in your sanctuary, declaring that his access to your mind and spirit is revoked. The atmosphere of your home is your jurisdiction. Anoint your doorways if you feel led. Play worship music or high-frequency sounds to cleanse the air. You are reclaiming your territory, and the residue of his energy must be evicted along with his physical presence. This is active housekeeping for the soul. Furthermore, realize that his exposure is a signal to the universe that you are ready for the real thing. Counterfeits always arrive before the authentic. They are the placeholders that test our patience and our standards. By releasing the counterfeit, you create a vacuum that the authentic can fill. But you must not rush to find the authentic. Let the authentic find you in your posture of wholeness. The relationships that are sent by God come with peace, not confusion. They come with clarity, not puzzles. They add to your energy, they do not siphon it. Use your experience with this man as the contrast tool. Now you know exactly what you do not want, which gives you high-definition clarity on what you do deserve. The standard has been raised, and you must not lower it for loneliness. In this interim period, focus on the 3 keys to a prosperous life concepts of receiving and sustaining. Often we attract takers because we do not know how to receive. We are so used to overgiving, to earning our keep, that we are uncomfortable with simple, reciprocal love. We choose partners who force us to work for their affection because that work feels familiar. To break this, you must practice receiving compliments, help, rest, and blessings without feeling the need to immediately repay or earn it. This rewires your energetic signature. When you become comfortable receiving, you become repellent to narcissists who want you to give, and attractive to healthy providers who want to give to you. This internal shift is the most powerful protection against a recurrence of this deception. The mask is not just cracking, it is pulverizing. The dust will settle, and when it does, you will be standing in a landscape that looks different. It will be quieter, cleaner, and brighter. You will look at the spot where he stood and realize that he was small. The giant shadow he cast was a trick of the light. He was a small man with a big unresolved wound, playing a god to avoid feeling his own humanity. You, however, are expanding. You are retrieving the parts of yourself he tried to steal. You are gathering your pearls that you cast before him, washing them off, and placing them back in your treasury. Do not fear the days ahead. The seismic shift you are feeling is the earth settling into a more stable formation. The tremors are proof of progress. Stay vigilant, stay aligned. Keep your discernment sharp and your notifications active, for we will continue to walk this path of liberation together. You are not losing a friend, you are losing a blindfold. And the view that is opening up before you is magnificent. Walk in the certainty of your calling, and let the dead leaves fall where they may. You are growing. Growth implies change, and change, even when positive, often feels uncomfortable to the nervous system. As you step into this new territory, do not be surprised if you experience a sensation of withdrawal. Your mind and body have been conditioned to the high-stakes drama, the cortisol spikes, and the dopamine hits of the intermittent reinforcement he provided. Peace may initially feel like boredom. Stability may feel like stagnation. This is a physiological trick. You are detoxing from the addiction to the chaos he manufactured. When the silence in your home feels heavy, remind yourself that it is not empty. It is pregnant with possibility. You are not missing him. You are missing the intensity, and that intensity was slowly killing you. You are retraining your palate to appreciate the sweetness of tranquility, which is the only soil in which true prosperity can take root. This is precisely why having a structured roadmap is vital during this transition. You need to fill that space with high-value architecture for your future. Which brings us back to the 3 keys to a prosperous life. This trilogy is designed to be your companion in the void, offering a practical map for the chosen to awaken to their true nature. It goes beyond simple advice. It helps you heal the invisible travas, the blocks, that made you susceptible to the counterfeit in the first place. You will learn how to expand with stability, mastering the art of receiving, sustaining, and multiplying your blessings without the heavy burden of guilt that manipulators often install in you. If you are ready to solidify this new standard and ensure you never slide back, I invite you to explore the ebook or audiobook via the link in the pinned comment or description. This is a limited opportunity to access a blueprint that transforms your sensitivity into your greatest asset. With this foundation being laid, you must be prepared for the inevitable reaction from the source of the toxicity. There is a metaphysical law often observed in these dynamics. The moment you truly let go, not just pretending to let go to get a reaction, but deeply energetically severing the cord, is the exact moment the counterfeit attempts to return. We often call this hoovering. It is not a sign of his love or his sudden realization of your worth. It is a sensor check. He feels the loss of supply, the sudden drop in the energy you were feeding him, and he reaches out to see if the buttons he installed in you still work. He may come with a crisis, a sentimental memory, or a seemingly innocent question. Do not be deceived. He is checking to see if the door is still unlocked. If you engage, even to express your anger, you have given him fuel. Silence is the only language he cannot manipulate. Consider the sheer audacity of the counterfeit. He relies on your empathy to override your memory. He bets on the fact that you are a healer by nature, and that you will struggle to turn away someone who appears to be in pain, even if that person is the architect of your suffering. But you must realize that his pain is often a performance, a mimicry of human emotion designed to unlock your gates. If you feel your resolve wavering, if you feel the tug of that old trauma bond, take a deep breath and ground yourself in the reality of the present. Look at the peace you have begun to cultivate. Is it worth trading that peace for another cycle of confusion? If this resonates with you and you are committed to protecting your new territory, please like this video to signal to the algorithm and to yourself that you